Okay, thank you for letting me get that housekeeping detail out of the way. The floor is yours. You're finishing this up, so make it good.
I'll try. Thank you. First of all, I do want to thank you for your service to this district, and I want you to know on behalf of all people of faith that we pray for you a lot. Great job representing us. I think we've heard several times tonight people mentioning things. I even heard you mutter a few things regarding the failure of the federal government just about everywhere it gets involved. And I want to implore you to continue the things that were really emphasized back with the Contract with America in the early 90s, dismantling of a lot of the unnecessary government agencies, things that Governor Perry brought up when he was running for office, that he couldn't quite remember all of, but we'll forgive him for that. And so I just want to encourage you to continue in that vein and be bold.
It was the Department of Commerce, he couldn't remember. And he's right. It serves no useful purpose.
So, you know, if there's ever a moment when you feel kind of like, this might not come across right, go for it. We don't believe half the junk we hear on TV and the news anyway. They're going to talk bad about you regardless. So be bold, be conservative, be constitutional. And legislative thing I think you're on the record as supporting a flat tax, is that correct? I'm sorry, my name is Leland Johnson. I'm here at Trophy Club. I'm actually a big proponent of getting rid of the IRS. It's still a federal imposed tax on income, which I kind of find immoral. Not kind of, I do find it immoral. And there's been a bill that's been around for a while, and you're familiar with H.R. 25, the FairTax bill. And I am very much on board with that. I know several people in this district that are. Our numbers are growing. And if it came down to it and that bill had the sponsorship, would you sign on to that piece of legislation as it stands?
Let me just say this. First off, as far as the flat tax is concerned, I mean, that is, my predecessor was a big believer in the flat tax. I bought his book in the 1990s. I read it, so this makes so much sense. I don't understand why we don't do it. I asked him early in 1996, when will we get the flat tax acted? And he said he expected President Gold to sign it shortly after it was inaugurated. Didn't work out the way we intended. I think for that kind of fundamental tax reform, which I believe that you have to have fundamental tax reform to get past some of these problems that we have. That's really going to take the referendum of the presidential election. I was actually hopeful this last go-around when both Gingrich and Governor Perry said, I want to support a flat tax. You know, it's that old Rodney Dangerfield joke that he tells, you know, he goes home and finds his wife packing up, and he said, what, is there another man? And she says, there just has to be. There has to be something else other than what we're doing right now. So, the short answer to your question is, I believe in fundamental tax reform. I believe it is going to happen one day. I think it will take a referendum of the presidential election. It's not something you're likely to see the balance of this year or even next year after the midterms. But when we are evaluating presidential candidates, that's one of the things that I look for. Where are they on fundamental tax reform? And are they willing to fight for it?
So when we win the Senate back, and we will win the Senate back, and we get the White House back with someone with half a nugget of common sense, and let's say it came down to a flat tax versus the fair tax, and there was enough sponsorship for the fair tax to pass, would you, based on what you know right now, would you be willing to sign on to that at that time?
I will tell you my concern about the fair tax, and I talked to Dr. Linder about this a lot, and Rob Woodall, his successor in the House of Representatives, is on the Rules Committee with me, and we sometimes will do the debate, flat tax versus fair tax. And it is the issue of the having to amend the Constitution to undo the law that allowed the amendment that allowed the income tax to occur in the first place a little over 101 years ago. You know, it's hard to get a constitutional amendment. It's hard to get it passed. We've seen that on several occasions. So that's my concern. last thing you want is both of them.
Right.
Okay?
Definitely.
So that's like having a high pressure line. If you put a value-added tax or a consumption tax on top of an income tax, that would be the worst of all possible worlds. So that's why I'm hesitating in answering your question, because I am concerned about, I don't want there to be both regimes running simultaneously. But I'm for fundamental tax reform.
Thank you for your answer.
Thank you. I don't know when this has ever happened. We are right on time. I mean, I promised I would be out of here before 9 o'clock. And it looks like we're going to do it. Thank you so much for being here this evening. Thanks for your participation. Democracy is a participatory sport. Sometimes it's a full-body contact sport, but it is participatory, and I appreciate you all being here this evening and appreciate you sharing your thoughts. God bless every one of you, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.